What is good? Osiris here. And I used to live out in the Minneapolis area. There's a lot of good people out there. It wasn't my favorite area in the country, no beef, but it's very cold out there. The Minnesota nice passive aggressiveness is a real thing. There are two places in our country where they're kind of the epicenter for critical theory. One is Loudoun County in Virginia. The other is Minneapolis, obviously made famous by George Floyd and Amir Locke and others. And these are situations that, to me, we could have learned from if we looked at it in an introspective way and not just blaming the police and other people. But here we are, and Minneapolis is falling right before our very eyes. Saturday night, we have this report here from crowds going crazy outside of this bar, the Gay 90s bar, which I am familiar with, never been there, drove by it plenty of times, very famous place in Minneapolis. And it's not a surprise to me that some of this is kind of going around that area because there's been so much pent up anger and misdirected angst that is going to come out. If you don't address it, it will come out. And if you look at it, it's getting so crazy here that you're seeing fights on a regular basis. It's become so unruly. People are brawling in front of police. They're not worried about being arrested or whatever. They got illegal street races going on. And don't think you're safe in the suburbs. I'm going to get to something at the end to show you what people might be if you live in the suburbs. I'm a suburban type of dude. I don't really rock with the city like that. The city is like a big high school with no principal right now. Imagine your high school with no administration. How crazy that would be. That's where we're looking at. Chaotic scenes unfold outside the Gay 90s bar this past Saturday night, where girls were filmed twerking on top of cars and yelling at a police horse as an officer tried to break up a fight involving a group of men. They were fighting. I'm not going to play the video. They're fighting, they're trying to break it up, and then they're twerking on cars. So it looks like this twerking has become like this act of defiance for young and confused people. Crime in the city surges almost 16%, 15.9% in the wake of George Floyd's murder. I just saw The Greatest Lie Ever Sold by Candace Owens. Great piece. There wasn't much in there that I already wasn't aware of, but it was really well done. And I think it's the definitive wrap up for what happened from the riots, George Floyd, to the riots, to the Black Lives Matter global network corruption. But in the wake of it, we're still seeing it. It's going to take decades to get out of this. The officials stripped 1.1 million from the Minneapolis Police Department. If you're in a big ass high school, do you want a principal there or not? Do you want administration there or not? Otherwise, it's just pure chaos. In a libertarian utopia, there are police force. They would just be private. So don't think that libertarians want wild, wild west where there's no enforcement. They would have security. They would have private security. They would be strapped up in a libertarian utopia. They just don't want the government to have a monopoly over it. They don't want any government, period. That's the big thing. So this video, I don't want to get any YouTube issues. It's disturbing scenes. Here's just a screenshot. And Rebs Brannon is great. The best out of Minneapolis, one of the best, period. During the riots, she went undercover with like a camera somewhere. So she went in the stores and pretended like, she didn't pretend to riot, but she was in there and no one saw her with like holding up a camera. She got to see some real good raw. She got us real good raw footage. Fight break up by police and a woman's petting the horse. Now, that's actually, it's not the time, but that is actually she's petting the horse. I don't know what happened. At that moment, they're worried about breaking up a fight. So they can't be like, let her pet the horse and build like community bonds. But I don't know. On its surface, that's not bad. But then the police had to say, don't touch my horse. And then the woman said, F you basically. But they're a group of men We're kicking somebody who was on the ground in a fetal position, and everybody just nobody's even it's so common that nobody's really even scared or shocked by it. They're just walking by it and looking like it's nothing. Other clips showed women fighting, punching, pushing each other. So things are getting worse and worse. When I lived out there in Minneapolis, never saw nothing like this on a regular basis over there. I mean, you hear something like that, but not on a regular basis like we're seeing now. This is complete chaos. There have been multiple shootings there the last few months. It's disturbing stuff. When you look at the crime statistics, homicides are actually down from last year in Minneapolis through October 15th, but assaults are up 9%. Robberies are down 5%. Burglaries are up 8%, and vehicle thefts going through the roof, up 40% from this point last year. Same point last year, up 16% on total crimes. So what's going to happen? What's the big takeaway? Here's my big takeaway. People are getting together to fund their own security, or basically, they are doing that. But here they're talking about wealthy residents in North Minneapolis crowdfunded $210,000, not small stuffs, not small change, to pay the city's police department for extra patrols amid skyrocketing crime in the Laurel Hill neighborhood. So they're putting up their own money. They're really, just like a tax going straight to their own people. How long do you think that's going to happen before they say, why am I paying taxes to the city? They're doing their own money separate from the police force to fund not their private one. They have done that. Some people have done that. In Chicago, we've seen that. Here, they're trying to get money to pay for the city's police. Can you believe that? So basically, they've raised taxes on themselves. The Minneapolis Safety Initiative, a resident-created nonprofit crowdfunding for additional police patrols, calls the program a temporary measure to address the current crime wave while Minneapolis Police Department continues to rebuild to full staffing levels. All the good cops left retired. All you have left are the new cops or the corrupt cops or the bad cops. You're boiling out the good cops. Some of them went to Florida, got 5,000 and got better weather and a state that supports them. And some of them went to private security forces. Some of them went to do private security and all these different type of jobs and just to get out of the force. Residents are encouraged to donate $210 monthly for 6 months. That's probably a strong encouragement. I wouldn't be surprised if they're keeping tabs on who's donating, who's not. Social pressure that could happen. 8 residents on the north side filed a lawsuit in the summer of 2020 calling the city to fill vacant positions. Their mayor is awful out there. Mayor Jacob Frey, they accused him of creating a hostile environment for police. The funny thing is, the mayor is getting it from both sides. So it was largely upheld by the state Supreme Court decision this summer, meaning the city now needs to staff up to at least 731 officers. Where do you think they're going to get 731 officers when Mayor Jacob Frey is getting it from the left? Well, I don't even know if they're called left, these fake leftists who want no police. They want civilian police forces. And then on the other side, they're saying he's not doing enough. But now he has to find 730 people who want to go to Minneapolis. Are you serious? Why would I want to go to Minneapolis? It's the last place I would want to go. People don't want to support the police out there. You go into an interaction, you know that if anything goes sideways, you're going to prison or something like that. Everything's on the favor of criminals. Going into the midterms, it's something to think about, and we'll have to see what happens in the larger picture of the country out there. They're blue till they die, like literally. Take care.